E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā kārangaranga maha, tēnā koutou katoa. Nau mai ki tēnei pāpāhotanga at whakaata Māori, ki ngā kai whakahaere me ngā kai whakataitai, tēnā koutou. Nau mai, kuhu mai ki tēnei pāpāhotanga, ki te ahika o tēnei o ngā rohe o te taitokerau, o te wharetapu o Ngāpuhi, tēnā koutou katoa.
Everybody, welcome into our broadcast from Whakatao Māori. We acknowledge the mountains, waters and people who sustain the home fires of the area. My name is Reese and I'm joined by Amber and Sasha, and we're your commentary team for the New Zealand Secondary Schools Cross Country Championships today here at Barge Park in Whangārei. I greet you all. To the organisers and athletes, a warm welcome to you also. Let's have a wonderful day. Okay, welcome to Barge Park here in Whangārei for the New Zealand Secondary Schools Cross Country Championships for 2025. We're about to get underway with our first race of the day. It is the junior girls race. They're running over 3 kilometres here in Barge Park. We've got a commentary team here, including myself, Reese Buck. We've got Sasha Ledeka, and I'm going to let Amber, our te reo specialist here, introduce herself.
Tēnā koutou, nau mai haere mai ki tēnei o ngā whenua tauri kura o Whangārei te terenga Prawa. E mihi ana ki te kura kei tēnei taha o te rori, Pompelia Catholic College, ki ngā hapu me ngā iwi o tēnei rohe, e mihi atu ana. And thank you very much.
Yeah, Morena, welcome to the viewers at home. It is a wonderful sunny day here in Whangārei for the New Zealand Schools Championships. You see the junior girls lined up there. We've got a star-studded field of young women here. A number of schools are represented in our favourites coming up. Runners from Kapiti College, Wellington Girls College, Christchurch Girls, Burnside High School, Queen's High School, Havelock North High School, and we'll get some of those names to you as the race unfolds. So throughout the day, the coverage will include the junior girls, junior boys, senior girls and senior boys races, as our commentary team will be here to run you through as those races unfold. And we'll bring those results as well to you as soon as we can.
And they are. So that is the result of the start of the junior girls 3K race. Fast start there as they head up to the first corner. Our first spotter will pick them up at the gum trees and we'll let you know who the front runners are.
As you can see from those wonderful drone shots that we're getting here at Barge Park, a beautiful, firm, what's looking from that first shot, a flat course. I'm going to get Sasha Ledeka here. She was running in the senior girls race here just last year. She's recently graduated from school. And I'm going to get Sasha to give us a bit of a kind of an insight into how this course is looking and how it's going to go for these races today.
Well, as a cross-country runner myself and someone that raced at Ascot Park last year, I'd definitely say this course is pretty different. It's got a lot more hills, but it is a beautiful course, and this start is quite perfect. You've got a big open start and then it narrows up pretty quickly, but you kind of sweep around on the flat here, so it's a bit fast and furious, and then you scream downhill for the 1K loop that the junior girls do first, and then you actually round uphill to come through for your next lap, and then you head all the way back down along the flat and down another hill, and you kind of do a little U-turn and come right back up. So the last 1K of every race today is the hills, and that's going to make or break the field. But you know, cross country is always a test of fitness and a test of strength, and if you're good, you'll get away either on the hill or on the flat and kind of maintain that. So we're in for some good racing on this course. It's definitely different to last year's, but I know that if I were racing this year, I definitely look forward to this course. So shout out to the local organising committee for designing this. It's awesome, and using Barge Park.
158, any down and from Hillcrest High School is leading the pack. Down the hill to commence a 1K loop.
Okay, and Amber, this is the first time that the secondary schools have been held here in Whangārei. Can you tell us a little bit, hopefully in Te Reo, because I'm looking forward really to listening to your Te Reo today throughout the coverage, but maybe tell the viewers a little bit about the history of maybe Barge Park and maybe the venue where we are.
O kia moho mai koutou ko te tautuatahi tēnei, o roto i ngā tau 51, ko tai mai tēnei o mga roa ki Whangārei te terenga prao. No reira, no mātou te waimarie, te maringa nui, kua huihui katoa mai o nei tangata whitu rau ngā tauira, kua tau mai ngā kura puta noa i te motu, ki te whakataitai nei, ki te o mga roa nei, me te mea no hoki i rongo mai koutou i te reo o Sasha e mea ana tēnei ara roa, he mea ua, he mea pakeke, ne? No reira, nei taitamariki whita nei, kua puta mai ki te oma i tēnei oma roa i tēnei rā, e mihi atu ana kia rātou. Me te mea no hoki e mihi ana ki ngā mana whenua, ki ngā ahi kā o tēnei o ngā rohe.
Thanks very much. We see from the shot there, that wonderful drone shot here at Barge Park, the junior girls as they were heading around at the end of their first 1K lap. Those leading girls, we have number 158, Annie Downing. I believe that's Annie Downing there from Hillcrest High School. Currently leading in this junior girls race. They're just starting out onto their second lap. It's a 2K lap. And as Sasha was just saying before about the course, they're gonna at the end, in this 2K lap, they will head down to the bottom of that hill, and they've got a long slog back up to the finish line at the end of this 3K race.
A little bit of mud down at the bottom of that hill, and I think that was 180 Olivia Clay McDowell from Kapiti College out of Wellington. So she's up there, right there with Annie Downing, and I think that was Leah Murray from Pakuranga sitting in third there with another athlete. We'll get you her name shortly. They're working together, third and fourth, to kind of catch those leading two. So should be a good battle.
Yeah, and we know from an athlete like Olivia Clay McDowell, she was third in the Year 9 race last year. She's coming in as one of the favourites for this race. But Annie Downing there, setting the pace. She's been leading right from the gun and running really strong there at the front.
Looks like we have a Christchurch Girls High School athlete working there with Leah Murray in the shot on screen, and I believe that is Mia Thompson from Wellington Girls in the teal. Can't catch her number right there, but apologies, from Scotsmere, but she's closing that gap on third and fourth. So we've got third, fourth, fifth working together. So if they can kind of pack themselves up and we'll take turns at the front, kind of rotate spots, they can work together in this last K and a half and really catch those leading two. But there they are. We've got Annie Downing and Olivia working together. Olivia just half a step behind.
Runners are still Annie Downing and one of our favourites, Olivia Clay McDowell from Hillcrest High School and Kapiti Coast. Around in front, first and second, and then there is a little tight bunch in the third, fourth and fifth.
Ki te hunga e whakarongo mai nei, e mātakitaki mai nei, 3 kilomita te roa o te oma o tēnei reihi tuatahi, ki ngā taitamariki, ki ngā tau iwa. No reira, nā rātau te rā i tuwhera, tai hoake ka oti tēnei o mga roa.
At the finish line.
As we see those two girls running down the hill, it's still Annie Downing and Olivia Clay McDowell leading out in this race. So also in the cross country, we do have teams races going on throughout the field, and those medals will go to the leading teams with either the lowest points scored with the first 3 runners across the line, or the first 6 runners across the line. So our defending champs here in the junior girls are Diocesan School for Girls in Auckland, and they're the defending champs in both the 3-person and 6-person race. So we will keep an eye out for those leading Diocesan girls to see how they're going in this race today. Wellington Girls College second in both the 3 and 6-person in this race last year. A number of those team members will have moved up into the senior grade.
Getting a great drone shot there of that turnaround. So they've kind of come flying downhill, and then they do a U-turn, and you've got a little bit of an uphill, a little bit of a flat, and then you keep heading on downhill further to do a little U-turn, and that's where the mud will be in the later races. It's not super boggy. It's definitely been worse in previous years at secondary school. Some of you listening might remember Howard all the way back in 2021, I believe.
Our next race will be the Year 9 girls, which is another 3K race, and that's
but they'll
scheduled
spin
for
around and then they'll head
10
on the
past
final
11.
uphill towards the straightaway. And if our leading two runners are still together, it'll be a good test of fitness and strength as to who's going to make that decisive move as they come all the way back up.
And we also saw in just a shot just a couple of minutes ago, Taylor Cox from Christchurch Girls High School in the mix there. She was second in the Year 9 road race at the school's championships in December last year. So once again, also another one of the favourites.
The two front runners have not changed
Up
position
towards the
at
front
the
here in
duck
this
pond.
junior girls
Still
race.
have
About
Annie
halfway
Downing
through, they're
from
heading
Hillcrest
down the
High
big hill
School, and Olivia
to turn around and
McDowell
with the
from
big slog
Kennedy
to come
College
back up to the finish
still
line.
leading the pack.
And with this beautiful lush grass here in Whangārei, it is a little bit deceptive with the conditions underfoot. There is a couple of those corners that are a bit soft, but for this junior girls race, first race of the day, it's soft underfoot but not too muddy. So these first races shouldn't have too much difficulty staying on their feet and having a nice good competitive race.
Tai rawa ki te ahi ka taima ngā tuakana tēnā pia ka tino mākuku, ka tino repo te whenua, I muri I te ua I nanahi me te rā I mua mai, no reira, whawhiti mai anō te rā I tēnei rā.
Looks like we still have Annie Downing out there. Looks like she's opened her lead actually. She's heading up. You can definitely see here on screen this hill that she's heading on up. So looks like she's doing it. She's broken away from Olivia McDowell, and then she'll swing around the tree and a bit of a downhill before we regather on the flat, and then one final push uphill, and you swing around the corner and there's that finishing straight. So it looks like Annie Downing, who's taken the race from the start, she's still out there. Here comes Olivia coming through. And then we have the battle for third.
So we've just had word that our front runners are just passed below the main building. So they will make their way across the road and then down our finishing chute. So we have word that number 158, Annie Downing from Hillcrest High
Hika
School,
mā
is
me,
still
me kia
in
atu
the
kia
lead,
koutou. Me whita
followed
te
by
tamata.
Olivia
He wai mairi
McDowell
e
from
nei tamariki,
Kennedy
he tamariki tonu. Me whita ngā waiwai, me manawa roa, me manawa kuaka. E pai ai tā rātou tatu atu ki te raina whakamutunga.
So here we go. They are
We saw
making their
Lucy
way
Maven
down the
come
finish
through there in that
chute.
shot.
So
I think
it
currently in
looks
fourth
like
place.
from
She
my
was second
eyesight,
to
number
Olivia
158,
McDowell
Annie
in the
Downing
Wellington
from
Cross Country Champs
Hillcrest
just a couple of
High
weeks ago, but it is
School. Congratulations,
Annie Downing
Annie.
from Hillcrest
Great
High School.
race.
Takes out that junior girls. Congratulations. And it is Olivia McDowell here in second. And great finish is this Lucy Maven. She's moved up into
And it
third.
looks like
She's
180, Olivia McDowell, Kennedy
It's
College
fantastic to see
in
our top
second
three. They've
place.
given their all. Olivia's given her entire effort today, which is awesome to see. So congratulations.
592, Lucy Maven
We've got Taylor Cox from Christchurch Girls High School coming across in fourth.
from Wellington Girls College.
Yeah, and you say about
third.
that effort coming into the line, I think we're going to see a number of athletes
It looks
collapsing
like
as they
they've
get
had
to the
a
line.
close race
That
and
hill
they've-
coming up towards the finish is
They're on
extremely
the
tough.
floor.
Leah Murray there,
Great race,
the
girls.
next runner across the line.
Fantastic to round out that top five. More runners incoming to finish our top 10. But it's fantastic to see so many girls not only get out there and start, but put all their effort in today. And you know, for me personally, it started as a junior, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm not the best as a junior, but you get out there and you race, and you find that competitive love, and you love the sport, and then you kind of move up through the
Quite
senior
a tight
grades,
bunch
and you're like,
coming
okay,
together
I'm gonna keep
over the
doing
finish
this
line
and see how
down,
good I
girls.
can get. But
Great
it's all
race.
about putting in the best effort, and you can see definitely lots of these runners here have gone to the absolute edge.
Worked your backsides off, so good on you.
So we just need to keep the
whananga
sheet
tu
a little
arai
bit
whama ko
clear,
tino
girls that are on the ground,
kau
just
te
so
hau
our punishers
o
can
ngā
come
taita
through.
mahine nei tēnei rai ki te mai ana koutou e takataka ana ai te rārangi whakamutunga ka puta mai ngā wātene nei ki te kohete atu kia rātou kia nuku kia neke kia haere mai anō te toenga o ngā tauira no reire he miharo te kite kātahi rā te o māroa ko tēnei.
What's important now, as we see loads more girls crossing the line, is actually the team scoring. I know Reece mentioned that 3-person and 6-person teams, and so you want every place counts in a race like this. You know, you want to be giving 110% in that last finishing straight, because you catch one runner, you catch two runners, that drops your team's point score a little lower, and that can be all the difference when you've got six
Girls,
places,
lift
2-person
everything out
teams,
there.
titles up for grabs. So
Great, girls.
it's an individual sport, running, but when you get that
Everyone
team
else.
race, it's important to go. Every person matters towards my team's goal.
School crossing, so local runners. Well done, girls.
Yeah, and as we said earlier, Wellington Girls College second place in the 3- and 6-person teams last year. They had Olivia Clay McDowell and Lucy Mabin right up at the front there. It's going to be a good start for them in that 3-person and 6-person teams race. So we will try and get those results through to you as quickly as possible. They are going live up on the results website. We will confirm for you exactly where that is, so those who want to get those results straight away and see how those people you're watching out there in this race have gone in the race today. And we're just seeing lots more runners come through. Lucy Bell there from Diocesan School for Girls, just finishing. Once again, we're here at Barge Park in Whangārei. We've just seen the leading runners finishing in the junior girls race. They raced over 3,000 metres.
On timing sport, I believe there was a
And
link
we've got
shared
coverage
on the
coming
New
today
Zealand
as well
Secondary
of
School
the junior
athletics
boys,
page
senior
last
girls
night.
and senior
So
boys
if you click on there
races.
on your phone, you'll be able to see the results live. You're just waiting for the last few runners to come through. And just a reminder, our next race at 10:11 is the Year 9 girls, and they race
Top
a
results
3K
right there. So
at
we've got Annie Downing, Olivia Clay McDowell, and Lucy Mabin taking out our top 3 places. And as you can read through that list of names there, you're kind of looking for some big schools: Diocesan School, Barradine College, Christchurch Girls, Wellington Girls College, definitely in those titles. Isabel Prescott there, and Kate Fatal from Toronto College, also running very well. Isabel's got some genetics. Her older brother Daniel Prescott ran very well, won the senior boys a few years back, so good to see the family still running. We've got some recognisable names: Kira O'Donnell, the younger sister of Liam O'Donnell, so we've got some familiar faces, familiar names.
While the race is on,
Yeah, and just a correction there, Olivia Clay McDowell running for Kapiti College. She did compete against Lucy in the Wellington Championships, but actually running for Kapiti College. There are only 2 girls from the same school there that I see in that top 15 as Diocesan School for Girls, so they are actually looking good there in that 3-person team. A strong run there.
races
The Fong twins, Charlie Fong and Mila Fong from Barradine College, also putting very strong performances together to hopefully get those Barradine girls in the 3-person and 6-person title hunt. So it's all about every place counts.
Yeah, and in this girls' race, and we're going to see it in the later races as well, Sasha, do we see the same teams coming back year after year? What's kind of up with that? Like, what are we expecting to see a surprise team pop out and win one of these events, or is it?
I would say it's pretty rare to have a school kind of come out the blue. I know, coming from Takapuna Grammar School, we haven't had a 6-person cross-country team. We've had some chances maybe at a 3-person, but you've got your traditional kind of historical girls powerhouses, like a Christchurch Girls, like a Wellington Girls, like a Diocesan. St. Peter's has also done very well in the past, and I know in the senior girls they have defending champ Bo Ritchie headlining that St. Peter's team, so that should be exciting. But you kind of same names pop up, and it's a case of first, second, third between those schools, and it's who can put together the best schools combined performance on the day. So always exciting to see.
Ko whitikina te rai ki konei ki roto o Whangārei te te ringa pāua, nei ko te pāpāhotanga a whakaata Māori. E mihi atu ana ki a koutou, nei mātou te toko toru. Ka rongo koutou i wā mātou reo i te roanga o tēnei rā. Koina ko te reihi tua tahi o tēnei ata ki ngā taina ki ngā tau iwa. Toru kiromita te roa. Te community, te taima, te rerawa o tēnei ata.
Yeah, and for those of you joining us on the coverage here on Whakaata Māori on YouTube, thanks for joining us today. We do have Amber here providing some te reo, some translations, but also some insight through the te reo for our broadcast today. Myself, Reese, and Sasha Ledeke here joining you for the broadcast. I actually enjoy Amber hearing, especially as for the little te reo that I do know, hearing some of that language come out, and as you're talking about the course and as you're talking about the athletes, it actually sounds really cool. It kind of some of those words that I'm familiar with, oma tua whenua, cross-country running. It's actually, it almost sounds cooler to call it oma tua whenua there instead of cross-country in English. But yeah, so thanks to Amber for that te reo that we've got coming through on the broadcast today.
Third in this event a few years ago, so it's fantastic to see Eleanor out there, part of that Craig Kirkwood training group. But we have our little group of three at the front. That is indeed Danica, Sienna and Scarlett, followed closely by, I believe that might be Bo Ritchie closing that gap there, or Lisa Hellier from Onehunga High School. We have Eleanor there sitting in 5th, and that is Bo sitting there in 6th, just behind Eleanor as they come back onto this flat section. So still Sienna from Danica and Scarlett, and that is Lisa Hellier that has closed that little gap to make 3 into 4 for our top spots.
Puta mai te hui o tēnei nama rima ono, rua waru ono ano hoki. He kaki ki te kaki tēnei tokotoru ai tēnei wā tonu hama. No reira, he whakataetai nui, ka tahi anō tēnei ka puta te hui toru waru iwa, ka haere mai, ka hoki mai enei tokotoru no reira. E pōhehe anau ka pēnei mo te roanga o tēnei huringa tuarua.
We've got Scarlett Robb taking the lead for the first time by half a step over Sienna. So they're stride for stride in this, with Danica moving up too. Those top 3 are right in a line, right across. So you want to be running the shortest line, but at the same time there's a little psychological effect running right beside your competitor, knowing, you know, I've got this, I'm in the zone, and, you know, I'm just going to match you with whatever move you make. So that's always exciting to see. But 3 top medal spots for 4 competitors right now. So that will be exciting to see how the back half of this second 2K loop splits them up. You can see our spectators cheering them on, giving them that push of energy. They'll definitely need that as they run around the duck pond and come up those compressed section of hills before that last finishing straight. And indeed, if this little pack stays together, I know that all of these girls have an excellent kick. Scarlett's run at 4:22 for 1500. We have Lisa running 2:06 for 800, so they've both got some very strong track times. That will definitely be, got to watch out for them and can't have it come down to that last finishing straight. But Sienna looking to make perhaps a little gap on this downhill. She's an excellent runner out of Queenstown there, trained by Neville Britton, so very exciting to see in her final year of high school what she can do.
Ka whakarongo ki wira kōrero ka kite au, he marama te kite tēnā pia a ngā kotahi rau, rua rau mita whakamutunga, ka tino pekia ki te tere o te oma o ngā waiwai o enei wahine ki te kite, ko ai ka whakaihuaka, ko ai te hu ka puta ki mua rau atu. I te kōrero mātou i mua rā me taku pāta atu, haha e haere katoa nei nei tangata ki Amerika, anei te take, anei ngā hua.
can see with this shot, you can see just sitting in 5th and 6th, we have Bo Ritchie and Eleanor Pugh just working together there, and they'd really want to, as two athletes, they really want to work together and kind of see how they can bridge that gap to that leading 4. We have 4.58, which is our defending champ Bo. We'll cut to the the finish line, and that's where, you know, it's never over till it's over. And then we have Sarah Hellier out of Onehunga High School, and then Millie McFadgen out of St. Peter's in Gore. We have Zara Pomfret from Glendowie, Nina Chalmers, and our first year senior, Maddie Worrell out of Dowson School, which is very exciting. We can see some more athletes. Asher Edwards coming through. We have Annabelle Richardson, Izzy Pickering, Hannah McManus, some good first year seniors in there. I know Izzy from Orewa is a first year senior, so she'll be eligible for that under 17 category. We have Emma Ward, Maddie McLean. We have Louisa Haynes. We've got our first Wellington girls singlet out there, Maya Holden. So she will be looking, another Wellington girls, looking for those 3-person and 6-person title results. We have Emma Davies from Westlake girls and Jacqueline Kowalewski from New Plymouth girls. So we've got a steady stream of known names, but they're coming up the hill for past the duck ponds for this final time in our leading pack. There is still 4 there in this wide drone shot. You can see as they all sweep around, there is still 4 athletes. So this last 700, 500 meters is going to be all on. I know if I was in this field, I'd be sitting there going, I can't leave it to a kick. I can't kind of put that kick on Scarlett and Lisa. But as we see now, we see Sienna, Denica, and Lisa Hellier. A little gap back to Scarlett Robb in 4th, who's really working the arms on this uphill. And it is Denica Clooney, the Northland athlete, who has taken the lead. So great to see out of Otamatea College here in Whangārei. That is fantastic on her home course. So it is Denica and Sienna putting a little gap on Lisa Hellier from Onehunga and Scarlett Robb from St. Cuthbert's. But move for move, Sienna and Denica. And I know, definitely having trained with Sienna in the past down in Queenstown, very, very strong cross-country athlete. She's got a very smart, tactical brain. She'll be wanting to make her move, and here goes Sienna Mackley putting a little gap on Denica Clooney and Lisa Hellier. So she's going, I've come up round this corner, I've got a little bit of downhill, a little bit of uphill, and a finishing straight. And it is Sienna Mackley with a solid little gap to Denica, Lisa, and Scarlett, who's really working arms on that uphill there. And we'll see some more athletes come by for 5th and 6th. And this looks like Eleanor Pugh and Sarah Hellier and Bo Ritchie coming through for 5th, 6th, and 7th spot. But Sienna Mackley on the other side of the course will be coming around and almost into this finishing shoot. Here we go, we've got a shot of the uphill.
Sienna Mackley really working those arms. Fantastic. And one of our para athletes, and Denica, who 19th last year. So moving up to 2nd is fantastic. We have Sienna Mackley striding down that home straight, really working arms. Fantastic technique there. Go Sienna. You will be the senior girls champion. And then Denica Clooney, our Northland athlete. Fantastic from Otamatea. Fantastic. You can see all that effort out there. And Lisa Hellier coming in to take bronze with a great smile on her face. And we have Scarlett Robb in 4th here. And one of our para-athletes coming across the finish line too. Well done, girls. You can see all that effort on Scarlett's face. We have 5th coming in now is Lisa's sister, Sarah Hellier. So 3rd and 5th for Onehunga High School. And Eleanor Pugh, a great run in 6th place there. And then our defending champ, Bo Ritchie, who has been really focusing on that 800 this year, coming in inside our top 10. Zara Pomfret, another great name from Glendowie College. She was in the Australian team last year. We have Millie McFadgen also coming across the line. And then Maddie Worrell in her first year as a senior. And we've got a big sprint out here for 11th and 12th. This is fantastic to see all this effort being put in.
That is Amy Thompson, Nina Chalmers. We have Izzy Pickering, first year senior, coming across, which is fantastic. It looks like Hannah McManus out of Diocesan School coming across that line now too. And then Asher Edwards, well done Asher. And then we have Maddie and Annabelle, Bronwyn Rees-Jones, Louisa Haynes. We've got a great group coming in here, which will be very important for those team points, with Maya Holden of Wellington Girls in that teal and some Epsom girls in there. We have, looks like a Westlake Girls athlete, Emma Davies, also a first year senior, so in that under 17 category. We've got Jacqueline Kowalewski, Holly Fawcett, and then another Epsom Girls athlete also coming across the finish line, so those are valuable team points in those scorings. We're looking for the lowest score as a team for both the 3-person and 6-person results. So forgive me if I've just spoken for the entirety of this broadcast of this race, but this is kind of, you know, my one area of expertise in this, and you can see more Wellington girls come across. So what did you think of that race, Reese and Amber?
Exciting race. Look, what a run from Denica Clooney.
Fantastic.
The
from
local
Denica.
girl of Tamatea High School, jumping up from 19th last year. All of those girls around her, Bo Ritchie, Lisa Hellier, Scarlett Robb, Sienna Mackley. You're obviously not there. Bryn Gordon, Sarah Hellier. These were the top 10 girls from last year. They've all returned.
Yep.
And Denica Clooney, what a jump up, 19th up to second there in the girls' race. And great to see Wakatipu High School winning. Or Tamatea. These schools, they're not powerhouses in cross-country running, and yet they're producing these amazing runners to take out the medals here in the senior girls race.
Definitely. It's that Denica had a fantastic track season to kind of bridge that gap from one cross-country season to the next. We see more athletes come across the line. So 19th to second is a pretty fantastic improvement, and I know she'll be stoked with that performance. And
for Amber here, who's been doing the te reo here on the broadcast, local Whangārei girl, she's excited. You're clapping in the background and getting excited seeing the youngster there from Tamatea High School. Look, you might be here as a Whangārei person, a local, witnessing a Whangārei local girl coming through. Maybe this is the launching pad for her to go on and do some big things in running.
Ai, e tika nei Reese me taku me anō hoki o Tamatea, you know, kei tawhiti rawa, kei ngā puke, he wāhi tino Pāmu, as a, you know, predominantly farming area, very hilly o Tamatea is. No reira, ka hore au I te ohorere ki tēnei tūmomo o Denica. Engari kia rātou katoa ki ngā wāhine katoa, ngā mātua, ngā kaiako, I whakapau kaha kia puta mai e nei wāhine ki te oma ia tau. No re, he miharo, ka hore au I te tangata oma roa, engari, anei ngā hua.
we can see that our results have popped up on the screen there, so we've got some excellent results from these girls. Again, Sienna Mackley from Wakatipu High School in Queenstown taking out that senior girls title. Denica Clooney from Tamatea and Lisa Hellier. We have two from Onehunga High School in Auckland, Lisa and Sarah Hellier, perhaps for that 3-person title. We also have some Diocesan School for Girls and some of Barradine College, so it will be a close race, I think, in the 3-person and 6-person teams titles. Definitely that 6-person is pretty wide open. We've got big schools like Wellington Girls and Diocesan that could be in the mix, but every place counts the further down the list you go.
Yeah, and we talked about it beforehand about the under-17 race that's been run in conjunction with this to acknowledge those younger runners. Maddie Worrell, our first under-17 there in that kind of outside of the top 10, but as a youngster coming through, a year 11 there in that race.
Fantastic. To be within the top 20, top 15 as a first year senior, that's a real strong run from Maddie, and as last year's junior cross-country champion to kind of step up and make that step up to a longer distance of 3K is a real great thing to see. So congratulations to Maddie first in their under 17. I believe it was Amy Thompson second, and then Izzy Pickering from Orewa College who took out third. So they will also get medals for their under-17 performances.
Yeah, and Maddie and Amy, they're first and second in the Auckland Champs just recently, so they're familiar with each other, they're racing each other, and leading out this junior group in the under-17 race here.
Definitely, it'll be familiar faces on that podium, but congratulations to all our runners now. You know, it's not an easy course. Definitely that last 500 metres of hills really breaks up your stride, and you've got to have everything, but you've got 50 metres to go here for our athlete crossing the finish line now, which is great to see.
Hakoa i whiti mai te rā i tēnei waiho. Ko timata, ko taitai mai, ko heke mai te hau, ko āhua makariri, ko tino ka puapua i tēnei wai. Engari, e whakapau ka hatonu ana e nei ngā whiore, ngā tauira, ki te whakawhiti i te rārangi whakamutunga, e nei kai o mai, nei kai whakataitai. Kei konei ke roto o Whangārei te terenga prawa i roto o Maunu, no reira e mihi ana ki ngā wāhine nei, e whakapau ka hana, e mate ana ngā waiwai hoama, e mate ana o roto, he wā pai tēnei ki te whakatā.
Okay, it's looks like the last of our athletes finishing there in the senior girls race. Our next race on the schedule is our senior boys race. Once again, just as exciting as the senior girls, some great competition, some top returning athletes. We've got a couple of our young juniors that have stepped up into the senior race this year to make it competitive. We're going to come back to you, Sasha. We saw the intimate knowledge of the athletes there in that senior girls race. I guess the hope is that you've been keeping an eye on the senior boys and their competing.
I'll do my best, but definitely kind of headlining the senior boys 6K, which is 3 by the 2K loop. So those boys have one more time around that course, one more time downhill, uphill around the duck ponds, which changes that sort of race dynamic. But definitely our defending champion is back. We have Caleb Wagner from Auckland Grammar School, who's a very accomplished not only cross-country and track runner, but also a triathlete and duathlete. We have, of course, our duo from Tauranga Boys College. We have George Wiley, who was second last year, and then our sub-4 miler moving up from the junior boys, our junior champion from last year, Sam Ruth. We also have Joe Martin out of Wellington College, who I know Reese mentioned won that under-20 Dawn Cup title, which is always a good kind of sign when an athlete's in form, so he'll be looking to challenge. We've got, you know, Sam Rickaby, Red Scampion, Connor Kemp, who I know won the New Zealand Schools Triathlon title, I believe, earlier this year, also coached by Craig Kirkwood, I believe. We've got perhaps Quinn Moss and Ben Oxford out there, Desmond Reddy, names that could also be in that top 10, and again, there'll be quite a lot of boys thinking they can be up there, make some moves, and be in that top 10 to make that New Zealand secondary schools team that will head over to Queensland, so that will be very exciting to see this race. And definitely it's a kind of overs and unders, I'd say, for that title battle, perhaps between Caleb and Sam. Sam coming at it from that shorter track mile 1500, and Caleb from that distance triathlon approach, but we'll see. It should be very, very good. And who knows, George Wiley from Tauranga Boys has been putting in some good work down there, come through and take an upgrade from second to first, so we will see. Should be very exciting. The weather has unfortunately packed in a little bit here. It's getting a bit of a shower, I can see from outside the commentary booth, so we've got some senior girls that have just finished and probably very thankful that they ran fast enough to avoid the rain, but a little bit of rain never hurt anybody. Skin is waterproof, and that's all about what cross country is. A little bit of mud, a little bit of wet, a little bit of hose down afterwards and clean your spikes off in the hotel sink, and you know, hope you don't block it.
Oh, giving the inside information about the life of a cross-country runner. I remember almost exactly that, finishing World Cross Country and seeing the Ugandan team in the mixed zone after the World Cross Country Champs. They've all been given sponsored spikes at the end of the race. They all take off their spikes, their brand new Puma spikes they've just run the World Champs in, and They take their spikes off, coked in mud, they hand them to the team manager, and as they walk out of the mixed tent, the team manager dumps 15 pairs of brand new Puma spikes in the bin because he doesn't want to clean them. So
Fair enough.
I won't go into the details of how I cleaned them all, but I did manage to bring back 10 pairs of Puma spikes back to New Zealand that got donated to kids across New Zealand. So some people don't like cleaning those spikes after a messy cross-country race, but look, these senior boys, that's what they're in for, I think, today. I think it's going to turn to a bit of mud. It's going to be fun to watch.
Definitely.
I'm just glad I'm not a cameraman out there today.
I'm enjoying my spot from the commentary booth and kind of seeing how it all pans out. I know that spike cleaning story in Kenya, we had to bring them, obviously, spikes back from cross-country across the borders, and the cue was, if your spikes aren't clean, we're just going to abandon them at the security at the airport. So it was everyone with a toothbrush in the shower going scrub, got to get all the mud out to come back and race in the same spikes in New Zealand. So there's always a good story to be had from cross-country, and especially with New Zealand cross-country, and, you know, not on a manicured flat golf course, not on a kind of pristine sunny. It's always got to have a little bit of toughness in there, which is always good to see with the athletes out here. So everyone, hopefully the boys are staying warm and dry before they have to get out there in those gates, but they still have another 20 odd minutes until go time. 12 odd minutes until go time in their race.
Ka nui te tino mihi atu ki ngā kaituku pūtea mai mo tēnei kaupapa I te rānei. Pērā no ia Baileys, ia rātou katoa, ngā kamu pene me ki Apollo, Just Cabins, kua tākoha moni mai, tāngata mai anō hoki. Whakaata Māori, Caltex, NZ Carbon Farming, SAS Sport, Athletics Whangārei, anō hoki ki te kaihanga I te tohu mo enei o ngā whakataitai kura tuarua o te motu kua whakarauika mai ki roto o Whangārei te terenga prawa, me te mihi atu anō hoki ki ngā mana whenua me ngā iwi ngā hapu o tēnei wāhi. Kua tatu mai, kua timata te heke, te kōpata o te ua. Engari, ko te manako ia ka mahea e kite ana hau I a tamanui te rā I muri rawa e ata whawhai ana kia piki ake I te maunga kia whitikina anō mātou e ngā hihi ai ana hihi. No reira, nau mai kuhu mai ki tēnei pāpāhotanga. He oe hoama e mihi kaha atu ana ki ngā wāhine ka tahi anō ka mutu ko ngā tāne e whai ake nei e kite ana e whakamahana ana I wa rātou tinana I mua tonu I tēnei reihi.
We were just talking about some of those favourites before, Sasha. You listed off, obviously, you know most of these guys, you've seen them running over the last couple of years. Some of these guys are competing at such a high level that we're hearing about them nationally. We come back to this story about these athletes running in year 9s and then into juniors and into seniors. A couple of examples I've got, I think, coming into the senior race. We've got Desmond Reddy, who won the Year 9s in 2022. We've got, I believe it was Sam Ruth that won it in 2023. And they're going to be going head-to-head again here today. So I think we are shifting over to Tony Rogers out in the field. He's got someone to interview, and we're going to hear from him.
I believe he is presenting that Bailey's Award.
Ladies and gentlemen, here in front of the Bailey's teardrop flags, we've got Simon Ward from the Bailey's office here in Whangārei. Bailey's have been a major sponsor for secondary school sport for a number of years now, and it's great to have you here, Simon. You're going to present an award to a young lady and her son, Kim Dobier, the parent mum who's looking after the team from Kings High in Dunedin. And Tim is the runner here. They've taken the nomination for the Bailey's All Together Better because the boys genuinely care about each other, their successes, their tough races, let alone the travel north that they've done from Dunedin today or over the weekend. They look after the younger ones and take them under their wings and feel really good. So they've got really great team spirit, and they've come forward from Dunedin all the way to Whangārei. So let's go with Caleb Dobier and Thomas Weatherall in the race coming up. And And Simon, just a word from you, from Bailey's. What are some of the reasons Bailey's enjoys getting involved with secondary school sport?
Yeah, absolutely. And first of all, thank you for allowing us to be a part of this and to be a part of the event today. It's a really great pleasure to be involved with events like this, and just listening to some of the values that were highlighted in the comment that you put forth for the Altogether Better Award, the values that we share at Bailey's, and the values that you see from everyone out here getting involved with the run, trying their best and pushing their limits. So well done to you, well done to everyone out here today, and good luck.
Thanks very much, Simon, and thanks for providing some shelter for our people today. A couple of the Bailey's tents, and it was just the first sun shower we've had today come through the windless north, and it was great to see people huddling under the Bailey's tent. So, and congratulations to the Dobiers for coming all the way from Dunedin for this award. Cheers.
See, the sun's kind of come through there, still drizzling a little bit, but you know, we've got all our spectators back out, boys hopping in the gates. On the left side of your screen you can see that huge contingent from Westlake boys in the red, white and green stripes, so always fantastic to see Westlake boys from that North Harbour region pull out a big team year in, year out, so fantastic. I know they're up for those 3-person, 6-person titles. They've always historically done very well. They've had some fantastic runners go on and do great things from that Westlake Boys High School. Names of like Murdoch, McIntyre, Toby, Saxby and other runners currently over in the States doing really, really well. Jude Darby, another name from that Westlake Boys group. So boys are on for their final stride outs as we're into the final 10 minutes where it's mainly about staying warm, staying loose, not kind of getting overly in your head or too nervous at this point in time.
And Amber, we've been asking about this weather and about whether it stays sunny all the time. You said it's been raining all week. Maybe I now believe you. But look, the sun's coming back out. Really nice conditions here, despite a little bit of rain. Maybe it hurts the spectators more than it's hurting the runners.
Nei, tika rā te kōrero. Well, hei, me kua ngau ai au taku arero I nai anei. I te mea, kua puta mai anō te iwa. Engari, I whakapaitia ka ua anō I tēnei rā, I tēnei ahi. Engari, he kōpata ua. E hara I te mea he, e tino matatoru, te heke o te ua ki konei ki roto te taitokero ki Whangārei te terenga pāwa. Engari ki te hunga kātahi anō ka hono mai ki tēnei o ngā pāpāhotanga whakata Māori, e mihi katoa atu ana mātai ki a koutou I ngā mana whenua I ngā hapu o tēnei takiwa o te taitokero o Whangārei. He pai ki te kite anō hoki I te tini o ngā kura o te taitokero kua kuhu mai ki tēnei tumomo hākinakina.
Got about 5 minutes here, and I know those we've kind of done a little bit of a race preview. We pan over to the podium, so we'll see who will be there at numbers 1, 2 and 3. We've got some of those favourite names, George, Caleb and Sam, and apologies, we said earlier that no Kiwi has ever gone to the University of Colorado. We've had a cool text come in from Evan Cooper that actually we have a Kiwi, Hannah Prosser, who's transferred over to there, so George will be seeing a familiar Kiwi face next August. So there's always stone's throw away as a Kiwi is what I've worked out in the States, that there'll always be someone that's got that familiar New Zealand accent, so it should be
and
exciting.
Maya Ramson, we talked about earlier, NCAA champ last year, represented New Zealand at the World Championships, had a great run at World Indoors last year, and she's now training with On Running, based in Boulder as well, so maybe there's a new Kiwi community building up there in Boulder.
I know she's joined by George Beamish, our current Oceania and New Zealand steeplechase record holder, who is also 5th at World Champs. So the OAC, the On Athletic Club, coached by that Dathan Ritzenheim over in Boulder. Pretty good mecca for running. I know that's on my bucket list of places to visit while I'm stateside, is to do a run along Magnolia Road up in Boulder, that famous run, that long run route. So there's always a Kiwi kind of.
E kei ngā tōpito katoa te ao a mātou katoa e noho ana, kua whaka whenua tia, kua whaka meki whānau tamariki, kua whakatipu tamariki, kua whakatipu whānau anō hoki e tahi o ngā hunga e mahi ana I wenei momo hākinakina, ka oti I konei ka whakawhiti atu ki roto I Amerika, ki te oma roa, ki te oma poto ranei, ki wera whenua. Heoi no, ka hoki mai no e ki te mai na koutou I wēnei taitama tāne e tūana ki te rārangi tīmatatanga, taihoa e haere ka tīmata te reihi.
And then we see the start line, our senior boys all lined up inside their starting gates, ready to get underway just about 3 minutes before the start of the senior boys race. And look, we've been talking all day, Sasha, about the course, about maybe the Ngāpuki, the hills, and the absence probably of the mud, the repo out there on the course. Do you think this little rain that we had about 10 or 15 minutes of rain, do you think that's going to make a difference for these senior boys as they hit that course?
Definitely. The girls would have all churned it up. The earlier races would have definitely churned it up. And now the boys are 3x2k over that little soggy section by the duck pond. So coming around those second and third times, they'll have to be careful going downhill, but you kind of got to lean forward, don't brake and kind of overstride and just like pretty much throw yourself down that hill, swing around the corner, and then know that, you know, it's cross country, you'll get a bit muddy, and that's part of it. You can see our Tauranga boys, Westlake boys, those familiar singlets in there, so that is up for those team titles, as we've talked about, a big wide shot, but the rain has stopped now, so the boys are all lined up and almost ready to go. That finishing shoot for the last race of this 51st edition of the NZ Secondary Schools Cross Country Championships.
Ki te mana koutou, wama ko tauranga pia tetahi o ngā tīma ka nui te tini o ā rātou kai o mai tēnei rā, ngā kai whakataitai mo tērā kura. Me taku whakapai pia kia riro I a rātou etahi māka mo te kura, mo te ngā tauira tini rawa ki te whakawhiti te rārangi whakamutunga I roto I ngā kai o ma te kau tuatahi o te reihi.
We're talking about this course, about maybe on some of those corners where it's getting a bit soft, it's getting a bit cut up. I do recall back to some of my racing at secondary schools, Cambridge. We raced at Cambridge High School, we've raced at Burnside on muddy courses. I'm not sure whether they could have those rugby games or football games the week after with the amount of damage we caused from those courses.
A few hundred runners trampling over one spot definitely does tend to ruin a field. I know my first New Zealand cross experience in Hawara, we were running on the side of a cow paddock and it was extremely muddy, but the boys are off. You can see there's, I won't say there's always one, but there's always one that takes it out quickly, and you can see the sprint from number 33 here. We have Daniel Kovilov and number 213 taking it out there, making it honest from the start, so good on you boys. Number 213 Duke Gilbert from Mags, Mount Albert Grammar, but the boys have all caught up. And we also have our para boys, our para senior boys competition in here, and I believe they do, we'll just check the distance on that para boys event. I believe they are running a, apologies, the para boys ran with the juniors in that 2k, so we have our favourites straight to the front. We have Caleb Wagner, we have Sam Ruth, we have James Webber from Wakatipu High School. So Sienna Mackley, the winner of the senior girls, her training partner and schoolmate James Webber, who performed very well at the New Zealand Secondary School Championships in Timaru. He was third, I believe, in the 3,000 metres. And then we have George Wiley there. So Caleb looks to be like he has taken it out and made it an honest race. So Caleb, Sam and James Webber from Wakatipu. We have a little gap back to George Wiley. So we have our first three, and then a gap to George Wiley in fourth there, and I believe that is Joe Martin from Wellington College sitting there in fifth. But there's still a long way to go for these boys here. They've done probably about 700 meters, and 5.3k is a long time to make moves, break moves, and switch up those positions. But for now, Caleb, Sam, and James just settling in there.
He tāroa tēnei tamaiti kei kua puta mai tana ihu ki mua tonu ai tēnei rārangi kai oma. He nō reira he rawa ki te kite e whai muri tata mai i aia mai te kura o tauranga moana maua o maunga me te tuatoru ana hoki ko James Weaver kua rongo tuatoru kei muri tata i te tamaiti tuarua o tauranga. Nō reira e pōhehe ana kua tino puta te hu engari kaua e kapo i tō hā i te mea tai rawa mai ki te wahanga hauro o tēnei reihi ka ki te kōwai ka tino toa.
And once again, we can see on screen we're getting this awesome shot of the athletes close up as they come around that corner, but what a beautiful overhead shot from that drone showing us this beautiful park here at Barge Park in Whangārei. It looks like a little bit of separation there for those two leading runners, Caleb Wagner and Sam Ruth.
And then third we have James Weber from Wakatipu High School coming up that hill for that first time. And you don't want to use too much energy going up this hill at this point in time, because you've still got another little bit of hill to finish your first 2k loop, and then a further 2 more 2k loops to go. So it's all about carefully measuring and conserving your energy and not getting too carried away and seeing all those spectators and hearing all those cheers and going, I'm going to run the best 2k of my life, and then realizing, unfortunately,
yeah, and we've got two quite different athletes here. We've got Caleb Wagner, who with his triathlon background, he won the Auckland Schools Champs just a couple of weeks ago by over a minute. He's certainly coming in as the strength runner defending champion. And then we've got Sam Ruth sitting on his shoulder right there. He's known for that world record sub 4 minute mile, youngest ever sub 4 minute mile in New Zealand. He won in year 9 here in 2023. He won the juniors last year. He's the youngster coming up, but he's coming in with that faster pedigree. Maybe doesn't have the strength of Caleb. How do you think that race is going to play out between these two?
I think that Caleb, coming with it from that strength background, he's done what he can do best, which is make it honest from the start and just try and run the absolute legs off Sam. And if Sam's more of a speed base, more of a kick base, we saw him kick down Sam Tanner in that fantastic 1500 meter final where they finished, you know, dead straight first equal, which was awesome to see his sprint in that final 100. And I know Caleb knows that he doesn't want to kind of leave it all down to a little sprint when he's got 6k to work with. So Caleb making it honest from the start is his way of trying to ensure that he comes out on that top spot. As we see more boys come around here, we saw George Wiley leading that large pack there in fourth, with James Weber in a bit of no man's land in third. He went out hard with Caleb and Sam as they're coming up to finish their first 2k loop off that hill, both looking very relaxed. You don't see much strain in their shoulders, still just a relaxed arm movement. Sam just tucked in behind Caleb there as they come round, so 2 more laps to go for these boys.
Pēnei me he motoka e piri ana ki ngā kokonga kia kaua kia pai ai tō huri i ngā kokonga e kautai e mātakitaki mai ana i te kāinga. Engari tēnei tangata, he tuahangata tēnei a Sam no te kareti o tauranga. Ko ia tēnā mehemea i ki te koe i te pepa i nanahi, ko ia tēnā kei muri tonu i te pepa o te advocate, i whakatairanga tia tana ana meka nui. Nō reira he pai te kite i aia kei muri tata i a Caleb e haere ana.
You can see they're back past that starting straight for the first time. They're coming around, still again Caleb and Sam. And I think that our live stream is working, but they're coming around on this flat section. all good. I hope we can still hear commentary, but we'll switch back to another camera angle. We can see this is the part of that flat section there for the boys. So still at the front, we've got, this is our little second pack working in there. We have George Wiley from Tauranga Boys, Joe Martin from Wellington College, and we do have a Bethlehem College athlete who I believe may be Corbin Holmes, number 57, tucked in there. So working there in those, what's that, 4th, 5th, 6th spots, but our two leading athletes, Caleb and Sam, have just stretched away as they come behind those trees.
Yeah, and we see these two athletes starting to create quite a big in the first 2K of what is we've talked about a tough secondary school cross-country course with these hills. I love coming back to the history. The thing about running is we can compare and look at some of this history. The largest winning margin that I could see in the history books from New Zealand secondary schools, John O'Wyatt won by exactly 1 minute.
Wow.
I will pick up the year, I'll get back to that, but yeah, a 1 minute winning margin. I'm sure that maybe there's not going to be a 1 minute distance between Caleb and Sam today, but I think we're looking at maybe these guys are running at such a level, they might actually have a minute on third.
Definitely, the kind of breakaway that's happened here between Caleb and Sam. They've cleared out, Caleb's gone, this is the way I'm going to try and win my title, defend my title. I'm going to make it honest from the start. And both of them are very strong athletes that, know that they're able to kind of hold at this level. So they're about, I would say, almost 2.7-ish K, probably a bit less actually, into the race. Still very, very relaxed. Sure, Sam seems like he looked down at his watch there that he's wearing on his left wrist, perhaps checking that heart rate. Hasn't gone above 150, still very, very controlled, but still Caleb and Sam working around that corner. And we'll see who is in the hunt for that bronze medal. It was Sam, just checking his watch again there. Third place will come around that corner soon as we move out of camera shot. But just working a little side by side, little overlap there. They're going downhill back towards the duck ponds for the second time, and you can definitely see in this wide drone shot those tangents that have been properly muddied up by all the other races beforehand. You got some lovely ducks in the mud, so watch out, because you've got two boys coming at you at about 3-minute K pace in about 30 seconds. We saw James Weber still in third, and that is Corbin, George and Joe sitting in those top 10 spots right there. We have Connor Kemp and Ben Oxford, some of those names mentioned earlier, also coming through, but definitely Sam and Caleb well ahead of the rest of the field.
Ka tino huri huri te whenua e ngā pūtu o enei kai oma ana ko pupu ake te wai, ko pupu ake te paru te repo wai, no reira ko puta mai ngā raki ki te kai ngā noke, he oi me matara, me ata matara ngā raki nei kei pūtua e ngā kai omai a ngā kai whakataitai. Engari kite ana e hoa mako tauranga a tērā e rua pea e kite ana kei roto i ngā tūranga te kautuatahi. No reira pea ka riro i a rātou e tahi māka mō te tini o ngā tauira o te kura kotahi ki te whakawhiti i te raina i te tuatahi.
Familiar shot there.
Yeah,
Caleb.
shot pans that bit back there
Sam.
to Caleb leading out from Sam. Maybe a little bit combination of Sam's doing just enough to stay with him, maybe looking for something later in the race, but also we can see from the way Caleb's working, Caleb really is trying to stretch Sam out as much as he can,
Definitely.
I think.
Caleb's got one of those kind of running techniques where, it looks like he's working, but at the same time he's got a whole another kind of gear to switch up into. There's a famous American athlete from Brigham Young, Connor Mance, which has the kind of trademark Mance pain face, and Caleb's pretty good at looking like he's working, but actually, he's got another gear. And definitely both boys aren't looking quite as relaxed in the shoulders there as they're going downhill and then uphill for this next time, where they'll have 2K left to go, and this is definitely where the moves will be made. So they're making light work of this course so far, it appears, as you can see in that big drone shot. All the other boys spread out, going uphill, downhill, and back around. They're coming up that hill. There's Caleb there, and there's looks to be Sam moving through on the inside. Just taking that lead for the first time in this race, so 4K down and 2K to go, almost, as Sam moves in front of Caleb. We've seen Sam checking his watch there. Perhaps it's telling him, you know, now's the time to go, 2K left to go. Less than 6 minutes of running for these boys at this speed, so very, very close to the finishing straight.
Yeah, we might get an idea of the kind of distance they've got on the next runners behind them once we get the next big high drone shot. I just mentioned before about the 1 minute difference. Jonathan Wyatt won in 1990 with a 1 minute winning margin over the 6K. And a point of note, we talked about Kimberly Smith finishing in the top 10 3 years in a row here back in the 90s. Craig Kirkwood, coach there of Sam Ruth, he's here at the course today supporting his Tauranga boys. He also finished in the top 10 here in the senior boys 3 times in a row back in the 90s. Yeah, he certainly probably passed on some of his knowledge about how to run at this level.
Strong talent coming out of Tauranga there, and that's another important kind of point on the team scoring on that 3-person and 6-person. Whilst we've got this fantastic individual battle, you know, you've still got these 3-person, 6-person, and Tauranga boys up there with Sam and then George, who I saw sitting in about 3rd or 4th spot there. They'll definitely be hunting for that 3-person gold. But Auckland Grammar, also a very strong school with Caleb there, so both the sort of scoring short sticks are up there, and it's up to the rest of the boys to make every place count. So some King singlets, some McLean singlets coming through, perhaps some New Plymouth Boys High. They did well, I recall, last year in that 6-person teams, but still at the front, very large gap now after 4K is Sam Ruth and Caleb Wagner. Still together. It looked like for a minute Sam was going to make a little jump there, but they're coming around this tree and still both of them still together, and it is, I believe, Caleb back in the lead there.
Caleb and Sam together as they head out down.
Ea tā whakamātauti ana ngā wati a te tokorua nei, me taku pōhehe e tiro ana ki te panapana o te manawa, te tere, te pōturi rānei o te panapana o te manawa, e pai ai tā rātou mōhio ai, ka hore rānei, me haere i nā tonu nei. Engari, e hoa mā ko te huringa whakamutunga tēnei o te tokorua nei a Caleb, me Sam, i whakapaetia tēnei i ngā wiki ki muri ko e nei tokorua pia, ka puta mai a rai waihu ki mua tonu no reira. Ko e nei e hoa mā, ko ngā whakapaetanga, ngā hunga nei, ngā mātanga o mga roa nei. Anō rea, tāria te wā, ka kite.
We still Caleb, still Sam, still the same sort of order as it was before, but I would say someone's going to have to make a move soon, unless, of course, they're willing to kind of bide their time and play a game of chicken until they get to that point in time where someone goes, I've got to make my kick now, this is where I'm going to make my move. But they turn that corner, they're going to swing downhill, start that long downhill to the duck pond, and we will see how this pans out.
Yeah, and they're both looking pretty comfortable on their feet. They're both moving really well. They don't look as though they've slowed down at all yet. Do you think the speed at which Sam went up that hill at the end of lap 2 is an indication of maybe what he's got if they are still together when they hit that hill on the last lap?
I think so. I think he'll be going, you know, there was a little teaser, see if I could kind of put a little break on Caleb, but Caleb covered that move well, so they'll just be maintaining. But it's pretty deceptive. They look like they're moving not extremely slowly, but they don't look like they're moving crazy fast. But you can see a little gap there and that downhill open up, but then of course closed up at the bottom of that hill. So it looked for a moment like it was going to be Caleb putting a little break on Sam, but they're still working together at below that 3-minute K pace, which is fantastic running for these boys.
Yeah, as if they've just gone past one of the back markers in the senior boys race over 6K. the distance between the front and the back markers does start to increase.
I've heard that the live stream is still not on, so we'll do our best to kind of commentate as it is. Oh, I've heard that the live stream is on a different link for those messaging going. It's been off since the start of the senior boys race. If you go onto Whakārei MāORI channel, it will be on a different link. So please tune in to catch the end of this senior boys race, but we'll do our best to give you as quick as kind of live updates as possible via the commentary, because I've heard that is still running. So we have, here we go, and it's race is slowed there. They've got about 400 meters. You can see Caleb's sister running alongside, cheering him on, saying, come on, you know, this is your race, you can win it.
It's one of the beauties of cross country, isn't it?
It's always
the
great.
coaches and the family members running from side to side on the course to support them as they run past.
Definitely, and you can see that maybe it's got a little bit cagey now. Maybe they're not kind of full bore. They're going, hang on, how much energy do I conserve for the sprint? You can see in Sam's shoulders, very relaxed. Caleb's got that nice relaxed forward lean, that high elbow carriage. Sam's almost chopped a stride, but go up that hill, you can see a little look back. Little cat and mouse, but they'll spin this corner.
Just hit what is kind of the second to last hill, about 300 metres to go. Caleb put a bit of burst on the hill. Sam immediately responded. They're now shoulder to shoulder with 300 metres to go.
And I'd say they're jogging, but you can see in Caleb's face that he is working, and that in Sam's face he is breathing. But both of them have excellent technique that doesn't really give away A, how fast they're moving, and B, how hard they're working. But they are so close to this finish, and I hope that one of these races is a sprint finish like that junior boys, and it looks like the senior boys is going to be a big kick for home too. And if you're looking at it in a sprint by sprint, you're going, well, we've got Sam Ruth, our youngest sub 4 minute miler ever, and we have Caleb Wagner, who is a very strong triathlete, very strong runner. You can see they've gone to the arms there, they're going uphill. Caleb is putting a little gap on Sam Ruth there. Caleb really working those arms, and perhaps he's done enough. He's got about 100 meters to go, and it looks like the defending champion Caleb Wagner raises the arm in victory. It looks like it will be. Caleb Wagner led all the way from Sam Ruth of Tauranga Boys. So Auckland Grammar on that top spot with the defending champ going 1-1 2 years in a row. So well done, Caleb. And I believe Caleb is off to Spain this year, or shortly in the coming weeks, to compete at the age group triathlon championships. Someone please tell me if I'm wrong, but very accomplished triathlete in the New Zealand triathlete teams, so he's done very well. And it looks like we're having third coming in. I saw Joe Martin there. I believe this may be Joe swinging around this corner in third.
We think is 57.
Joe Martin from Wellington College, so excellent run for Joe, off to the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill next August, so well done Joe. Fantastic 800 meter runner, he's broken 150 there, was your boys schools champion over 800, so good range to be champion over 8 and bronze over 6k. And we have Corbin Holmes from Bethlehem College, so excellent run, number 57. And then we have James Weber from Wakatipu, also in that top 10. And it looks like George Wiley coming through here from Tauranga Boys. So Tauranga Boys, 2 in that 3-man team title. We have Sam Rickaby, I believe, maybe? Nope, apologies. Alex Macbeth, Ben Oxford. And we've got a steady stream of athletes, boys, that's going to come in now. And Connor Kemp coming in there, Red Scampion. Who else have we got rolling across that finish line? Definitely I saw a couple Kings singlets that'll be important in that 3-person and 6-person title and medal hunt. But
yeah, and we've talked about the teams throughout the day. Auckland Grammar defending champions in the 3-person, Tauranga Boys College defending champions in the 6-person. Both schools with athletes up there in that top 10 again.
I tēnei tūmomo āhua ki konei ki roto o Whangārei te terenga prawa. Ko te tuatahitanga tēnei i roto i ngā tau rima te kaumātahi, ko tai mai tēnei hākina kina ki konei ki roto i a mātou. Me te whakapai me te tumanako ia ka hoki mai anō, tēnā pia ka pikia ki te hiku o te ika. Engari, hara mai, tētahi āhua, Ruawai College, no konei anō hoki, no roto o Tākiwira. Hara mai tētahi āhua.
We've got more boys coming across that finish line now, giving it their all. Quite a few stopping their watches. We see a Westlake boy come across there, but every place is important. Another Tauranga boys singlet, another Wellington College singlet. So those 3-person and 6-person team results will be up on the live results, and then will be presented with certificates at prize giving, I believe.
And once again, once we see these results come up on the screen, you will notice there'll be some under 17 athletes acknowledged. With the new under 17 grade being recognised here, there will be medals given to the top 3 younger athletes, and they're also part of the under 20 race that's here, and the senior teams medals as well. So, great to see the acknowledgement of that, and we'll see that come up when the results are shown.
So a young athlete, Sam Ruth there, so he'll receive a senior silver medal, but also an under 17 gold medal for taking out that under 17. So a good day of medals for young Sam, but Caleb coming out on top. As you see, lots of little sprint finishes in here from all the boys from different schools. Another Wellington College singlet, I believe, coming through. It's maybe, what's this, Whangārei College, perhaps, that yellow stripe, and maybe Mount Albert Grammar. But excellent runs from all these boys here. Not easy to step up from 4 till 6k. That is a whole another 2k loop of the course, so it's definitely a change as we see Westlake boys and Tauranga. So here we have our final results. 2 seconds, the winning margin, so definitely not a minute, but a full, what's that, 52 seconds from second to third, from Sam to Joe. So that is a very, very solid distance from those 2 leading athletes. But we have Sam, Alex Macbeth from Wellington College, and Leo DeMonchi from Kashmir High School being your 1, 2 and 3 in that under 17. Very close with Ethan Mora, 4th, the younger brother of Jamie Mora, who's very accomplished cross-country and track and field runner. He's off at the University of Missouri at Mizzou right now, running very well. So well done, Ethan, as an under 17 athlete there.
And James Weber there from Wakatabu High School. Senior boys and senior girls, top 5 finish for their top athletes.
Very good performance. So that coaching squad down there with Neville Britton doing an excellent job to come all the way up from the bottom of the South Island to the top of the North Island and run extremely well.
And seeing Sam Ruth finish second there, obviously he was racing for that first, but look, he might be following in his dad's footsteps. His dad got second in this race in 1997 and went on to win in 1990. I think it was second in 1996, and then went on to win in 1997. So we're probably going to see Sam back here next year and maybe trying to go one better from his place this year and emulate his dad.
He's got next year and then the year after, so it's always good to see some of those young athletes kind of stepping up and running really well, and Sam has been doing an excellent job. He's got a good head on his shoulders, very sensible young lad, so just keep improving, keep kind of training, keep at it. That Craig Kirkwood group down in Tauranga has been doing an excellent job with the junior athletes coming through. See more sprint finishes there that look like Jack Beaumont from Albany Senior with the dip at the line there, always good to see. And you can see with that big drone shot, you've got boys on the ground, you've got boys hunched over, you've got boys looking a bit worse for wear, but they've all put their best effort out there, so always great. That's always part of cross country, the kind of few moments you have after you finish the race going, that's my race, and I hope that they're all proud of how they ran out there today. But well done, and I know I'm looking forward to seeing how these team results turn out, because 3-person, 6-person, you can have 2 and you can have 5, but those 3rd and 6th runners make all the difference. So very important to see where they end up, and those will be as I said earlier, on the live results, which you can find on the NZ Secondary Schools Athletics website. So go and check them if you're following a particular school or a particular boy or a particular team. That'll be good to watch out for.
And with the back-to-back wins there for Caleb Whangārei, just looking back through some of the history again, he's in some pretty good company there. Richard Lindros doubled back in the 80s, early 90s. Phil Starr doubled in the 90s. Declan Wilson, only about 10 years ago, doubled in the senior boys, back-to-back in the senior boys secondary schools. So some great running there for Caleb Whangārei, especially with the competition he had there against Sam this year. So a huge achievement for him to go back-to-back in that senior secondary schools race.
Definitely. It's awesome to see when you kind of have an athlete that can go, you know what, I made my mark last year, I'm going to do it again. And especially on a different course. I know Ascot Park last year, fast, flat and furious with the hurdles, and to show that you can kind of be a versatile athlete and be a strong athlete and come out on a bit of mud and a bit of hills and gonna produce the same result is always fantastic. So I know Caleb should take a lot of confidence before heading into his triathlon season. So you can see, yeah, varying stages of I've just finished a cross-country race happening here, which is kind of what it's all about, you know. The bit afterwards, see your family, see your friends, see your competitors, say, well done mate, good run. Looks like we have some parents and officials looking there, maybe looking for those teams' results, having a look at, you know, who's hopped in those all-important third and sixth spots to make those final point scores count.
And Amber, look, as we're coming to the end of the racing itself here today in Whangārei, well, I think these guys, these athletes are going to be talking about what a cool course it was, what fun it was. It's been in really, really good shape. The weather's been beautiful. Such a beautiful part of the country to come to. Do you think Whangārei is going to be saying, come back and see us again?
Aye. Aye is the easy answer, yes. Mehe mea ka hoki mai anō, e whakaaro pēr ana kia piki ake ki roto ki te hiku o te ika. Ko tai mai ki Whangārei, engari pēr me neke ki roto o kai taia, awa nui, era ahi para, ki wera pito o te motu, te mea hea tāhu ara wātu. A Aotearoa whānui, engari a te tai tokerau, he wāhi miharo ra wātu. He wāhi whakatā anō nei kei ngā motu o te moana nui ākiwa. Engari e mihi atu ana kia kourua Reese, Sasha for having me i tēnei rā. Whakaata Māori ki ngā tāngata katoa. Nōku i te Waimarie e te maringa nui ki te haere mai ki te mahitai kia kourua. Engari tēnei hākina mehe mea e hihi ana koutou i tētahi kai kōrero reo Māori ki roto o te whanganui ātara te rātou. Karanga mai atu i tēnei mihi ana kia koutou katoa. Me ngā mana nui o tēnei wāhi o te taitokere o Whangārei te ringa Prawa, ki ngā kai whakataita, ngā kai oma, ngā mātua, ngā pakeke, tēnā koutou katoa.
And I know with the championships moving to, I believe it's in Whanganui in 2026, so closer to home for me. So maybe I'm now involved. My kids are now at Aotea College in Porirua, and the hope might be that we might have some more Porirua kids coming up closer to home in Whanganui next year competing. I know Aotea College, we've had just one competitor here today. I think from the whole Porirua Valley. So looking forward maybe closer to home, being able to bring a few of those athletes along to compete. And maybe we've got 12 months as well, opportunity for me to work on some te reo, start talking about what is it, nā kai whakataitai, our athletes, and starting to use some new kupu and be ready for our coverage in 2026 and down in Whanganui.
I know I'm looking forward to tuning in from the other side of the world. I'll get up and watch and cheer on those friends of mine and those training partners of mine that have still more years, and I'm looking forward to see kind of the next bunch come through and how everyone gets on. I know Caleb's off after this year, Bo, Sienna, all old and year 13, so they're all kind of out, and we'll have a new group of athletes come through, but I'm definitely looking forward to, you know, more New Zealand secondary school cross country, which is always good.
Yeah, and looking at that awesome drone shot showing the setup here at Barge Park in Whangārei. Yeah, look, certainly big thank you to those at home watching and enjoying the coverage here on Whakatao Māori, Māori Active on YouTube. The coverage from our view has been really good. I hope that people have enjoyed it, and I think we have seen the results of those senior boys. I know the results are live as well, so you can go onto those results links. All the results links coming through the New Zealand Secondary Schools Athletics Association Facebook page.
I'm not sure what school this is. I believe it may be is it St. Patrick's Silverstream. I'm not sure, but great group of boys there. Maybe they're looking out. Hey, are we in the contention for that 6-person title? Like, what's the results happening? Where are we kind of going with that?
It's Sacred Heart in
Sacred
Auckland.
Heart,
We
apologies.
confirmed for ourselves, so that's good. I certainly wasn't going to let you get away with calling it Silverstream local school, but yeah, no, great to see. Once again, we come back to that team aspect. Those athletes have all been out there running for themselves, run as fast as they can, but at the end of the race, actually, they're there with the team. They're celebrating as a team. They'll go back to training as a team, and I'm sure the ones that are eligible will be back here next year, hopefully with a good, strong team to run again.
Yes, we hope to see all the athletes that can come again next year, and then everyone else that's kind of tuned into the live stream and is going, hey, you know, that cross-country lark actually doesn't look as bad as some people make it out to be. You know, running is fun. That's probably the most biased statement I've ever said, but please come along to next year's New Zealand Secondary School cross-country. Cheer on your athletes, cheer on your teams, and get involved if you can and you're eligible and you're a high school athlete, because, you know, it can lead you to a lot of places. And here we have our under-17 medal presentation from our senior girls race. So we have Maddie Worrell from Darlington School for Girls in that first spot. We have that is Amy Thompson from Rutherford College in second, number 341, and then Isabel Pickering from Orewa College in third. So those are our top 3 under-17s, and the senior girls will be getting their medals now, which is great to see.
And look, as we see some of those medal presentations now happening, I know with the coverage, we'll be moving on today. We do thank you for joining us here on Whakatao Māori on YouTube. A big thanks from me and from Sasha Ledeke here that's joined us with her expert insights into the racing today, certainly in the senior boys and senior girls races. Your knowledge has been wonderful, and so I'm going to hand it over now to Amber to just close us off and start to wrap things up here in Whangārei.
Tēnā koutou I pohiri mai a hau, kua oti wā mātou mahi I tēnei rā. Ki ngā kai whakahaere, ngā kai whakataitai, ngā taita mariki kia haumaru tā koutou hoki ki wā koutou wā kāinga. Engari e mihi atu ana ki te reo irirangi o Ngāti Hene ana hoki, tēnā koutou ngā kai mā taki I tā koutou tūhono mai, nohora mai.
Yeah, once again, thank you Amber for your te reo input on the coverage today. That's been wonderful. I've certainly learnt some more kupu myself, which has been great. So that is all from us here today. Safe travels home to all the organisers and competitors, coaches and family that have been here. Big thanks to Whakatao Māori, Māori Active and their support of this event and allowing the coverage. Big thanks to the coverage team. We've got a big team here with the cameras, these wonderful drone shots, and Ben here running the coverage in the booth. And a big thanks to our viewers for joining us today. Noho ora mai, stay well.